I never thought I'd be the guy who needed a personal trainer. I mean, I was doing fine, right? Sure, I'd put on maybe 15, okay, 20 pounds since college. And yeah, my back hurt when I tied my shoes, and I got winded walking up the stairs to my apartment. But I was fine, totally fine. Until the day my nephew asked me why my belly was so squishy, and my sister laughed instead of correcting him. That's when I knew I had to do something. The gym intimidated me. All those machines looked like medieval torture devices, and everyone there seemed to know exactly what they were doing, while I couldn't figure out how to adjust the seat on the leg press. I'd been a member for 3 months and had gone exactly twice, both times leaving after 10 minutes of awkward wandering. That's when I saw the sign for a free consultation with a personal trainer. I figured, what did I have to lose besides my dignity, which was already pretty much gone? I filled out the form at the front desk, expecting them to assign me to whoever had an opening. Probably some muscle-bound guy named Brad who'd make me feel worse about myself. Instead, I got Maya. She found me on a Thursday evening, standing in front of the rowing machine like it was a puzzle I was supposed to solve. "Marcus?" she asked, and I turned around to see this woman with kind eyes and a genuine smile holding a clipboard. She wasn't what I expected. She had an athletic build, sure, but there was something warm about her presence, something that made me feel less like a project and more like a person. "That's me," I said, probably sounding as nervous as I felt. "I'm Maya. I'll be doing your consultation today. Don't worry about that rowing machine right now. Let's go somewhere we can talk." She led me to a small office in the back of the gym, and for the next 30 minutes, she didn't ask me about my fitness goals or my diet. She asked me about my life, what I did for work, why I joined the gym. What was I hoping to feel like, not just look like? I found myself telling her things I hadn't planned to say, about how my dad died of a heart attack at 52, about how I was 34 now and starting to see him in the mirror, about how scared that made me, about how I wanted to be around for the people I loved, but I didn't know where to start, and everything felt overwhelming. Maya listened, really listened, not the nodding while waiting to talk kind of listening, but the kind where you can tell someone is actually absorbing your words. When I finished, she set down her clipboard and leaned forward. "Marcus, I'm going to be honest with you. You're a special case for me." My heart sank. Here it comes, I thought. The speech about how I need to buy the premium package or how I'm too out of shape for the regular program. "My dad died the same way," she continued, her voice softer. "I was 16. He kept saying he'd start exercising tomorrow, next week, next month. Tomorrow never came." She paused, and I saw something flicker in her eyes. When I see someone who's actually ready to make a change, who understands why it matters, that's not just another client to me. That's personal. She told me right then that she was going to train me for free. Not one session, not a trial period. Free, period. I tried to argue. I told her I could pay, that she didn't have to do this, but she just smiled and shook her head. "Consider it paying forward," she said. "Someone helped me once when I needed it. Now I'm helping you. The only payment I want is your commitment. You show up, you put in the work, and you don't quit on yourself. Deal?" What was I supposed to say to that? I shook her hand, and we started the next day. Those first few weeks were brutal, not because Maya pushed me too hard, but because she pushed me exactly hard enough to make me realize how far I'd let myself go. Every muscle I didn't know I had announced itself with soreness. But Maya was there for every session, adjusting my form, encouraging me, celebrating the small victories. When I managed 10 push-ups without stopping, she high-fived me like I'd just won a marathon. But it wasn't just about the exercise. Between sets, we'd talk. I learned that Maya had become a trainer specifically because of her dad, that she'd struggled with her own health after he died, using fitness as a way to process her grief, that she understood the weight of family legacy, the fear of repeating history. I told her about my job as an accountant, how I'd spent years behind a desk convincing myself that mental work was enough. About my ex-girlfriend who left because she said I'd stopped trying, stopped caring about myself, and she couldn't watch me fade away. About how much that hurt because she was right. "You're not fading anymore," Maya said one day, about 6 weeks in. "You're coming back." She was right. I could feel it. Not just in the way my clothes fit better or how I could climb those apartment stairs without gasping. It was something deeper. I was starting to remember who I used to be before I buried that person under comfort food and Netflix binges and excuses. Around week 8, something shifted between us. We were doing partner exercises and she was holding the resistance band while I worked my shoulders. Our hands touched when we switched positions, and the contact lingered just a second longer than necessary. She pulled back quickly, professionally, but I saw color rise in her cheeks. "Sorry," she said, which was weird because she'd never apologized for anything in training before. "It's fine," I said, but my heart was doing something different from the exercise-induced racing I was used to. After that, I started noticing things. The way she'd smile when I walked into the gym, how she remembered little details I'd mentioned in passing, like asking how my nephew's birthday party went or if I'd finished that book I was reading. The way she'd sometimes watch me complete a set, with this look of genuine pride that made me want to work even harder. I tried to tell myself it was just good trainer-client rapport, that she was like this with everyone, but then I'd catch her looking at me when she thought I wasn't paying attention. And I'd wonder if maybe, possibly, this was something else. 3 months in, I'd lost 25 pounds and gained something I couldn't measure on a scale. Confidence. I felt strong, capable, like I could handle whatever life threw at me. And maybe that's why I finally worked up the courage to say something. We were finishing up a session, cooling down with stretches, when I just blurted it out. "Why did you really do this? Train me for free?" Maya stopped mid-stretch, and I watched her carefully consider her answer. "I told you, you reminded me of why I started doing this." "That's not all of it, though, is it?" She sat down on the mat, and I joined her. For a long moment, she didn't say anything. Then, "My therapist told me I have a savior complex, that I'm trying to save everyone because I couldn't save my dad. Maybe she's right. Maybe that's what this started as." "Started as?" Maya looked at me directly, and I saw something vulnerable in her expression. "You're not a project to me anymore, Marcus. You haven't been for a while. And that's complicated because I have this rule about not getting involved with clients, and you're technically my client, even though you're not paying, which makes it even weirder, and I'm rambling now, aren't I?" I laughed, and she laughed too, and the tension broke just enough for me to be brave. "What if I wasn't your client anymore?" "What do you mean?" "I mean, you've taught me enough that I could probably keep going on my own. I don't want to because training with you is the best part of my day, but I could. So if the only thing stopping this, whatever this is some professional boundary, then maybe we remove that boundary." Maya bit her lip, thinking, "You'd really stop training with me?" "If it meant I could take you to dinner, yeah, I would." She was quiet for so long, I thought I'd misread everything, that I'd just made a complete fool of myself and ruined the one good thing I had going. But then she smiled, this soft, genuine smile that made my chest tight. "What if we did both?" she asked. "Both. What if you kept training with me because honestly, you still need guidance on your deadlift form and also, we went to dinner. I could keep it professional in the gym and very unprofessional outside of it." I couldn't help but grin. "That seems like a loophole." "I'm very good at finding loopholes. It's why I never lose at board games." "Good to know." "So is that a yes to dinner?" Maya, that's a yes to pretty much anything you want to ask me. Our first date was at this small Italian place near the gym. We talked for 3 hours, until they started putting chairs on tables around us. I learned that she was terrible at cooking but great at baking, that she'd run 2 marathons and wanted to do an Ironman someday, that she collected vintage cameras but never put film in them because she liked them as objects, that she sang off-key in the car and didn't care who heard. She learned that I did voices for all my nephew's toys when I played with him, that I'd wanted to be a writer before I decided accounting was more practical, that I still wrote sometimes late at night, stories I never showed anyone, that I was terrified of birds because a seagull stole my hot dog when I was 7. "A seagull?" she asked, laughing so hard she had tears in her eyes. "It was traumatic. Those things are vicious." When I walked her to her car, neither of us wanted the night to end. We stood there in the parking lot, and I gathered every ounce of courage I'd built over 3 months of training. "I'm going to kiss you now, if that's okay." "I've been waiting for you to say that for the last hour," she replied. It was a perfect kiss, the kind that makes you forget where you are, that makes the whole world shrink down to just 2 people, and this moment and the feeling that something important just shifted in your life. 6 months later, I'm down 40 pounds and up 1 incredible girlfriend. Maya still trains me 3 times a week, though we've had to establish some ground rules after we got distracted during a session and forgot we were in a public gym. We spend most weekends together now, meal prepping and watching movies and going on hikes that I never could have managed before. Last week, my sister commented on how different I looked, not just physically, though that was obvious. She said I seemed lighter somehow, like I was carrying less weight even though I was clearly in better shape. She was right. I wasn't carrying my fear anymore, or my shame, or all those excuses I'd made for why I couldn't change. I think about that first day a lot. How close I came to not filling out that consultation form, how different my life would be right now if I hadn't. It's strange how the biggest changes can come from the smallest decisions. Maya says I was never a charity case, that I earned every bit of progress I made. But I know the truth. She gave me more than free training sessions. She gave me a chance when I needed it most, and she believed in me before I remembered how to believe in myself. Sometimes she still calls me her special case, but now it's a joke between us, an inside reference to how we started. Though if I'm being honest, I kind of like being her special case, because she's definitely mine. The woman who saw something worth saving in a guy who couldn't tie his shoes without getting winded. The woman who pushed me to be better while accepting exactly who I was. I'm planning to propose next month. I've been working with a jeweler to design a ring, something unique, just like her. I'm thinking I'll do it at the gym, where it all started. Maybe I'll hide the ring in a weight plate or something. Maya would appreciate the symbolism. My nephew asked me last week why I'm not squishy anymore. I told him it's because I found someone who helped me remember how to be strong. He's 5, so he didn't really get it, but someday he will. Someday I'll tell him the whole story about how his uncle met the love of his life, because he finally decided to stop being fine and start being better. And it all started because a personal trainer saw something in me worth investing in, even when I couldn't pay. She called me a special case, and she was right. Just not for the reasons either of us expected.